Hey everybody, welcome to another Gengo Lingo mini lesson. Today, we're going to be talking about life here in Japan.
Yeah,
Maui, you've spent more than half of your life living here?
No, not more.
Sorry, my math is not correct, but almost half of your life.
Almost, yes. Yeah.
So, what do you like about living here in Japan?
There are so many things that I like about living here in Japan. One of the first things that comes to mind is this service.
Service.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
when I say service, I mean, when you go to a store or you go to a restaurant, the staff are very, very nice.
Yeah.
And I think that's as a traveler to Japan when I first came, or like when I was visiting when I was younger, that's definitely one of the things that kind of stick out in my brain.
Yes, absolutely. Me too.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the other thing now that, especially because I've got kids or we've got kids, is it's safe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's safe. And it's very convenient, especially, living in Tokyo. The public transportation system is just, trains are to the T, right on time.
Yes, and there's a train everywhere.
There's a train everywhere.
Especially here in the city.
Yes.
You can get to anywhere within like a 10-minute walk, which is unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah. And, I mean, Japanese people are so polite.
Yeah.
And also very friendly.
Yeah.
So I love that as well. I like Japanese food.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
So, yeah, I could go on and on, I guess. The seasons here are wonderful. I come from a place, Hawaii has one season, basically. There's ups and downs to the seasons. Of course, it's way too hot in summer.
Yep.
And a bit too cold for me in winter. But I do enjoy the fact that there are 4 seasons.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. How about you? What do you like about Japan?
Well, basically, you've taken all of mine.
Sorry.
You covered everything. No, I want to reiterate a couple of things.
Okay.
Like safety. Yes, I think I took that for granted. So I've lived here a long time too, and I don't have to worry about my safety.
Yeah.
When I go back home or when I travel to other countries, it's kind of a eye-opening experience because Japan is so much safer than those places.
Yeah. I wonder if part of that has to do with we're so comfortable like living here and we're established here. Whereas like, for example, if you still lived in Canada and you went to a place that maybe if I was visiting, I would find a bit sketchy or scary. Maybe because you're established there and you're used to it, you'd be like, oh, this is normal. You know what I mean?
Yes, I know what you mean. And maybe there's a bit of that. But even when I go home, I do find myself kind of, looking over my shoulder, making sure I've got all my stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to, villainize any places.
Right.
Because I do encourage travel. You can travel safely. But Japan is extraordinarily a safe place.
It really is. And I feel, we talked about the people, but it's the, I don't know, should I call it honesty factor?
Okay, yeah.
Right? It's like you drop $100 and, you go back to find it and it's either like, it's in the same space.
Or it's a little bit higher.
Somebody is like, put it somewhere for you so it doesn't get lost, or they, report it to the police, to the Koban, the police station for you.
You mean that doesn't happen in Hawaii?
Not that, not in my experience. It's finders keepers.
Finders keepers, a very important difference between Japan and the rest of the world.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't lived everywhere,
right.
But that's definitely something that I noticed.
Yes. So, and then another one is like travel and transportation. So, coming from Canada,
Yeah.
like we are a driving country.
Yes. Yeah.
We start driving when we're like 16 years old.
Yeah.
Because it's necessary. So coming to a place where I can go anywhere in the country by train is it's again extraordinary.
Yeah. That's true. Trains and even the buses, I mean, they may be, more delayed than trains because trains are almost never delayed. But they are also pretty much on time and very reliant, right?
Oh, yeah. Just comparing it to
reliable,
Canada.
Sorry. Not reliant. We are reliant on the buses.
That's right.
Yes.
Important distinction.
Yes.
Buses are very
reliable.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's positives and negatives to everything. Yes. So is there anything about living in Japan that you wish were different or you can't quite, vibe with?
Well, most things fit with me, but going back to what I think your first point was, service, sometimes the service is rigid.
Yes.
We find more flexibility in Canada or America.
Yeah.
If we want to slightly change something or, make a substitution or something that's not on the menu or not on the service plan.
Yeah.
It's not a problem in other countries.
Right.
But in Japan,
the flexibility factor.
Just maybe that change is not expected. So there's no plan for it. There's no procedure.
Exactly.
For changes.
It's not in the manual.
Yeah. Not in the manual.
Not in the manual. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of older companies in Japan. I think maybe now there's a lot of newer emerging ones, but in terms of kind of like the set places like banks and post offices and things like that, government offices, they're very set in their ways.
Which makes the system run smoothly most of the time.
Yeah, until they meet somebody with
we have kind of expectations that a little change is not a problem.
Okay, right.
Yeah. So I've learned kind of to live with the more rigid system, and things get done.
Eventually.
Yes. So that's one point that I think I had a little difficulty with. Do you have any other examples?
That was my example. So I can't really think of much else, but...
Putting Maui on the spot. Come on, Maui.
Think about a negative thing. Think about a negative thing.
Well, that's a great point. It's hard.
Yeah, it is actually hard. It's,
you mentioned hot in summer.
Yeah.
Summer is pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's the sometimes rigid systems and the by the book
yes
that people have to follow.
Yeah, you mentioned maybe two phrases now. So not in the manual and by the book are ways to describe that situation.
Yeah, but I honestly cannot think of... Can you think of another example?
Well, there's certain things like separating trash, for example.
Oh, that's a good thing, though.
It is a good thing, but it takes up time and brain power to do those things. I haven't lived in Canada for 17 years, so I don't know what the system is now. But in Japan, separating trash is it's a big deal.
Yeah, I guess if you while you were speaking, I kind of had an idea. And I guess it's that sometimes I feel that Japan is a little bit behind the times.
Oh, yeah.
In terms of global happenings or trends, maybe.
Yeah.
On a more surface level, it's like movies. It's like we get the major movies, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 months after the rest of the world has gotten it.
That's right.
But it's because they're produced in the other parts of the world, right?
Right. Maybe they have to translate it.
Yeah.
And make the marketing appropriate for
exactly.
Japan. Yeah.
But other things like trends or like social issues even, or even talking about social issues is quite delayed here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, like, something will be trending in Japan, and then, my response would be like, yeah, we did that like 20 years ago in Canada, or that was a thing 20 years ago.
Yeah. Or because, we get a lot of our news from English sources. We do, get English news for Japan as well, but a lot of our sources are from the States or from Canada. And then we bring it up to people in Japan, and they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, everyone's talking about this overseas.
Right.
Yeah.
So there is a different,
lag?
kind of like even a bubble maybe. Whereas like certain things just are not brought up by the media, or
they don't
make
it into the
maybe social media and kind of global kind of YouTube and things are spreading ideas a little faster than traditional media.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, I did think of one more thing.
One more. Okay.
Really quickly.
What is it?
Sorry. Well, this isn't, I guess it's also kind of along the same lines, but sometimes there's some societal norms or societal pressure.
Where are you going?
Societal pressure in Japan to kind of fit.
So,
to fit in.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that appearance-wise, I look Japanese.
Yeah.
And right now, because I've lived here for so long, I can speak Japanese pretty well. But, my upbringing is not Japan.
Right.
So culturally, I'm bicultural, but, my roots are kind of like an, Western culture. So I kind of clash with Japanese culture sometimes. And I feel pressured to kind of, fit in or, get in line.
Yes. And maybe on the other side, like, I don't feel that pressure.
Yeah.
I'm given a little bit of leeway because I'm not Japanese.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel that's unfair, but I also see that it's like it's very beneficial for me.
It protects you sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes I want to have something on my forehead that says like, I'm not actually Japanese or something.
Yes.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, I love it here.
Me too.
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah. So thanks, Japan.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us for today's mini lesson. In the comments, if you could let us know, if you are a non-Japanese person who is living here, what do you like most about Japan? What are the things that you find a little bit difficult? And if you are, Japanese-born Japanese person living here, you can tell us, like, what do you want to brag about?
Yeah, what are you proud of?
Yeah, what are you proud of? And then what are some things that you might want to see change? Great. That's a good discussion. Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Bye.
はい、皆さんこんにちは。今日の Life in Japan の会話から5つ単語とフレーズを拾ったので説明していきたいと思います。この会話はちょっと中級者上級者向けだったので、ちょっと難しい表現が出てきたと思うので、始めましょう。はい、1番目 take something for granted っていうのは何かを当然だともう考えてしまう、思っちゃって、でその感謝の気持ちがなくなってしまうときに take something for granted って言うんですね。だからジェフは日本でその安全性をすごく自分は take it for granted してて、海外に行くとあれみたいなどこでも安全じゃないんだってちょっとびっくりするところがあったっていうので、私もハワイ出身なんですけれども、私は大学に行く前にはそのハワイの夕日とかをもう本当に I took it for granted。もう大学に行ってサンフランシスコに行ってそのハワイの美しい海の上の夕日が毎日見れなくて、すごく恋しいなって悲しくなった気持ちは本当にあります。で帰るとやっぱりもうこれを毎日感謝してればよかったんだなっていう気持ちがあるんですね。それが take something for granted。 で、2番目は eye opening。eye opening は日本語で調べて、辞書で調べてみたら、目を見張るようなって書いてあったり、目から鱗とかのいう説明あるんですけれども、ちょっと私はニュアンスが違うなと思っていて、eye opening は形容詞なんですけれども、eye opening experience とか、I traveled to Africa and it was an eye opening trip って言ったら、もう本当に本当にね、目が開いたっていう意味だから、目から鱗っていうところもあるんですけれども、現実に気づくとか、ちょっと本当に自分の周りの現実とか周りのリアリティにそうっていう感じで使うニュアンスの方が合ってるんじゃないかなと思ってます。はい、3番目。Finders Keepers。これはちょっと子供の時からよくナチュラルイングリッシュでは使うんですけれども、探したもの勝ちですね。だから日本だと結構何かを落としたりすると必ずって言えるぐらい戻ったら同じところにあったり、ちょっと逆に高いところに置いてあって誰かが踏まないようにとか、それから交番に置いてあってリポートされててっていう感じが多いんですけれども、海外で私の経験だともう Finders Keepers も例えばもう本当にお金だったらもう探した人が勝ちだ、探した人がもうもらっちゃうっていう感じで Finders Keepers って使います。で、4番目は2つ同じようなので一緒に入れたんですけれども、set in one's ways。それか by the book は自分のやり方にも慣れていて変えることは難しい。だから私が言ったのは Japan is very set in their ways。人のことだったら He is very set in his ways. So it's difficult to change his mind。彼の考え方を変えるのはすごく難しいよ。もう自分のやり方とか自分の考え方にもう慣れていて、もうこれを変えるつもりもないからみたいな感じで使えるので、最後は behind the times。behind the times は時代遅れっていうのもあるんですけれども、本当はその直訳だと時代遅れ。でも日本の場合はちょっとなんていうんですか、海外とかにハプニングしてるトレンドとかよりは日本に届くのがちょっと遅れてるかなとか、例えば男性と女性のそのイクワリティの仕事場での平等の関係とかもちょっと他のところに海外の他のところに比べるとちょっと遅れてるかなっていう時に Japan is behind the times regarding 何々についてっていう感じで使います。はい、ありがとうございます。See you next time!